Have you ever wondered if there's a helping hand available when we stand before a higher authority, particularly on a day when every action is weighed? In times of immense consequence, the idea of someone speaking on our behalf can bring a sense of comfort. In Islam, intercession, known as Shafa'ah, is a reality, but it is strictly conditioned by divine permission. It is not an automatic right or an unfettered privilege. Rather, it is a specific act of mercy granted by God under precise terms outlined in the Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The fundamental principle governing intercession stems from God's absolute sovereignty and oneness, known as Tawheed. The Quran explicitly states that no one can intercede with God except by his leave. This reinforces that all power, authority, and ultimate decision-making rests solely with the Almighty, and that humanity is directly accountable for its deeds. Verses like Ayatul Kursi, chapter 2, verse 255, clearly establish that no one can intercede with him except with his permission, ensuring that reliance remains solely on God himself. Therefore, aligning oneself with the possibility of intercession involves sincere faith and righteous conduct. One must believe in God's oneness, avoid associating partners with him, and strive to perform good deeds while refraining from major sins. Intercession is for those whom God is pleased with and for whom he permits it, rather than a loophole for disregarding accountability. It is an act of mercy, not a means to bypass one's responsibilities or the consequences of disbelief. The concept of Shafa'ah encompasses various forms. The greatest intercession, Shafa'ah al-Kubra, is reserved for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who will intercede with God to commence the day of judgment for all of humanity. Other forms include intercession for believers to enter paradise without reckoning, to be elevated in rank, or to be relieved of suffering. All these acts, however, are utterly dependent on God's explicit permission and his divine will for specific individuals, often based on their faith and deeds during their lifetime. Understanding these conditions for intercession ultimately deepens our appreciation for God's justice and boundless mercy. It inspires us to cultivate a direct and sincere relationship with our Creator, striving for righteousness and piety, while also holding on to the hope of divine clemency through those whom God permits to intercede. This perspective encourages personal accountability and diligent worship, anchoring our faith in God's supreme authority and wisdom.
If this deepens your faith, like, subscribe, and keep learning with us.